Welcome to the Call to Lead, where founders and CEOs in the finance sector share what calls them to be a leader and offer wisdom for ambitious professionals. I'm Tracey, CEO of Windsor Edge, where we grow financial services and fintech businesses. Let's get into today's episode. I'm thrilled to have our guest today, Dori Megori, co-founder of Winston.
I had this vision to create a chat experience where investors get a boutique level service from their brokers, just like the richest people in the world.
Dori, thanks so much for being here. Tell us about yourself and how you ended up where you are today.
Thanks for inviting me, Tracey. So I'm doing product for about 15 years, mostly in fintech, mostly around trading. Prior to that, my background is in finance. I worked for several investment houses, stock trading and dealing rooms. And from there, through risk management positions, I started doing product in a company I was working for and found myself shifting from finance to technology. And in the last few years, I'm dealing a lot with data science.
We hear the term data scientist a lot now. Can you explain that to us?
Sure, I'd love to. So data science is basically the capability of extracting meaningful insights from your data. A data scientist would need to be able to understand a problem and whether or not data science is even the right solution or the right path to solve this problem. Assuming that it is, a data scientist would be able to decide what data set he needs in order to find a solution. He will need to clean the data, to make the data more meaningful, to add other data sources that would complement his research, and he would be able to extract the insights from the data.
So you've gone from being in finance to then becoming more interested in technology, then to data scientist, and to founding ultimately Winston. What is your role at Winston?
I had this vision to create a chat experience where investors get a boutique level service from their brokers, just like the richest people in the world would get from their broker. And I'm having this vision for several years. My role at Winston today is shaping up the vision, creating a product, making sure that we are creating value for our users.
At Winston, what outcomes are you selling to companies?
Winston is basically a dual-sided solution for the problem. On one hand, there is end user, which will get a copilot assistant, an agent AI platform that is embedded within his trading platform. Think of any broker that you might be using, and on the side of it, you have a chat experience that would lead you through your investment journey. But this is only one side of the solution. On the other side, there is the broker that also wants to leverage AI and data science in order to create value for the business. The tip of the iceberg that everyone can see is the chat experience, where the user again can engage with Winston through conversation. On the broker side, he's getting a robust platform, including insights and different capabilities that will allow him to control the conversation, to understand his users, to give them better service, but also to gain a lot of insights on their activity. It also allows him to get predictions on users' behaviors like churn or additional deposit, and then to optimize users' lifetime value in scale.
It sounds like Winston's really providing multiple different benefits, both to the user and to the broker. And that's really exciting. What is an unexpected benefit of Winston?
So it's not just a one-time interaction like you would go to any generic large language model out there, and you can query it, ask a question, get a response, and that's it. For example, let's say that you believe that electrical vehicles are the next thing to boom. Would you now go and find the right investment that would complement that, assuming that it would happen? Most people don't do that. And why don't they do that? Because they don't know how. We help you make that connection. We help you maintain your portfolio over time. So let's say you already made some investment, but something in the real world is happening and might affect your investment, and you don't know that. Winston, he knows how to connect those real world events with each and every one of the users on a personal level. And so you as a user will not be bombarded with lots of information and lots of news events and stories that you don't care about. You would only get what you care for.
So, would Winston also help you challenge your own assumptions? So, if you were biased and interested in this pathway, would Winston then come in and let you know, oh, that industry is actually not looking so great right now because of X, Y, and Z?
The key is to provide balanced information. We don't want to be biased, and we have no internal motivation for anyone to take this action or another action. We just want to give our users the best service, the best knowledge, the best data available out there, to give them the pros and cons, to educate them, to give them all the tools for them to take the decision and execute the action if they believe that this is the right thing for them.
You had also spoken about the challenges understanding compliance.
So regulators and authorities like the SEC and FINRA, they're struggling to make financial world a safer place, mainly for individuals and that engage with financial markets. And their job is to motivate FIs, those financial institutions, to play fair and responsibly. And they're doing a pretty good job making the industry very cautious not to get fined, right? Because fines are in millions of dollars. Then, on the other hand, there is technology, especially generative AI, that is running wild, making compliance officers too afraid of what those large language models can accidentally do. So for example, imagine the user is asking, should I buy NVIDIA? So, well, we can't just say, sure, why not? You should buy NVIDIA. It's a good stock. It will skyrocket, right? We want to give a balanced, non-biased, and fair response to such a question. So we listened to the market and decided that one of Winston's target is to be compliance BFF. And what I mean is not only to be comply with regulation, but also to give compliance team superpowers that they deserve in order to utilize AI to make financial institutions more compliant, yet not to pass on their business opportunities and revenues.
That was awesome. I love it. And I want to ask, so is that part of your marketing then? Compliance BFF?
As a slogan, you mean? But no, this is
Yeah.
just something I'm saying. I'm
I
saying
know. I'm just kidding.
it's a good idea.
How does Winston solve compliance challenges?
So when we say compliance in this context, first is the chat assistant. We trade our model to maintain a compliant conversation that is fair, balanced, not biased, not soliciting, and fact-based. In addition to that, we make sure to keep the conversation around investment opportunities and vehicles that are suitable for the individual client, based on the suitability framework of our FI clients. On top of it, we develop tools for compliance team to manage suitability over time. What does it mean? Or maybe what is suitability? In a nutshell, it means that the investment opportunity that is discussed with the user or offered to the user is suitable, basically that he understands the risk and that it makes sense for such a person to take that risk. So take, for example, an individual worth $10 million with experience in options trading. He might be suitable for investment like, let's say, a crypto investment. Where a low-income young individual with no experience in progress investment vehicles is not suitable for crypto investment. And in that case, the compliance team will probably decide not to allow the second to trade crypto on their platform. now jump 6, 12, 18 months ahead. Is that individual still inexperienced? Is he still under low income? Did he not gain a lot of knowledge since being onboarded as a client for the first time month ago? Probably not, because things are changing. Did the compliance team ever reach out to him to reassess his suitability? Probably not. That's where Winston identify a potential suitability change and auto-run a process that will end up with a recommendation to the compliance team on whether or not to change his suitability and allow him to trade crypto as he wanted. Besides that, we follow all record-keeping requirements and security measurement required in the industry. Other than that, Winston is just a fun assistant to work with. It can, over time, match the user's way of communication per each and every individual user.
I'd love to hear a typical day for Dori.
So as a startup founder, I guess there is no typical day, right? It could be working on roadmap and product feature, or working very closely with the design studio on UX, creating concept, building prototype. But on the other side, it is also covering data and BI, running clients interview or hiring. And some days I'm joining BizDev with meeting clients. I love it. All my life, all my career, actually, almost all of it. As a product manager, I was in early stages, the startup. And I love being all around doing this and doing that. And surely as a co-founder, you start your day at the morning, ending late in the evening. I love it. It's fun.
Amazing. Would love to hear what's working well for you right now. What has been going smoothly? And then on the opposite side, what's been frustrating?
So we do see brokers and the other financial institutions in the industry that are loving our solution, not only the chat, but when they see what we have on the backend side and the dashboard and the insights and all the value that they would get.
What do you attribute to being able to shorten your sales cycle? If you don't mind sharing some of your secrets with us.
Yes, the main thing is, I think, is trust. We strongly believe in building trust with whoever we work with. We deliver that trust during the sales cycle. We let them experience the demo. We let our prospects really deep dive into what is happening. We show them the backend. We show them how it works. We show them our records. When they see how we treat compliance, they are rest assured that they are in good hands. Because before they see it, it's what they have in mind is, how do I pass this through compliance? Marketing team, they would love it. Compliance, not so much. When they see how we really treat each and every transaction, and not a black box, it's a transparent box that gives them trust. And they say to our face in the demo, I heard it several times. Well, I saw several products, but no one is doing what you're doing behind the scene. And this is what they love about us. So back to your original question, what is it exactly? It's those tools that will allow them to understand that there is nothing to be afraid of, that we understand what we're doing, that we understand their problems, and we have the right solution and technology to solve them. It's really mind-blowing, and seeing their reaction every time, again, this is really fulfilling me as a product and as a co-founder. So definitely this is working great.
Okay, so this is a surprise question. Winston, all right, is that somebody's grandpa, somebody's dog, Winston Churchill? Where does Winston come from?
Great question. And one of your guesses is correct. Yes, it is. It is
Nice.
my co-founder dog, but this isn't the reason we embrace that name. We were looking for a name that represents a person that sounds American, sounds like a trustable person. We love that people confuse Winston with Watson from IBM. And we love the W that looks like a person with his hands up, right? We like the W because it looks like a chart. We just love it.
We're in this period of people being timid of, oh, I know that this platform has AI and I want to use it,
Mhm.
but people don't have the experience yet, and it's going to start now being demanded
Right.
by people using platforms.
No doubt. I predict that uh, Copilot's assistant will boom in the next 12 months. We're going to see it all over the place and more in those mid-level risky industries like finance or health that are holding back versus the no risk industries like, ordering a pizza. What's the worst that could happen? I get olives instead of mushrooms. Yeah. Right? So those started a month ago, and you can find it all over the place, those chatbot for those simple tasks. But financial and health and other more risky industries, I believe that we'll see higher adoption within that industry in the next 12 months.
Are there any other predictions? You beat me to the punch. I was going to ask you.
Yeah, I have two other. Other than that, I believe that we see more AI-based automation and optimization of human labor resources. And lastly, I believe that there is a revolution in R&D working methodology and velocity. The way engineering is being done is changing completely. And maybe we still don't feel it, but I believe that within 12 to 18 months, we would see a huge revolution. I believe that this trend is going very, very strong.
Well, thanks so much for being here. How can people find you and track Winston's success?
Check out Winston.ai. That's WNSTN.ai. We have a new website. Check it out. Other than that, you can find us on LinkedIn. You can find me on LinkedIn. I would love to hear from you.